This segment of Hak5 is brought to you by Domaincom.
Hello and welcome to Hak5. My name is Darren Kitchen, and this is your weekly dose of Technolust. It's going to be a great show.
I'm Shannon
Such a
Morse.
fantastic show this week. There's
Go drink your water.
Yeah.
Water. Hey. Hello and welcome to season 12.
Season 12. Cheers to that.
Salon chairs.
Roast.
Roast. Pot roast.
Pot roast.
What?
Where
What are we talking
about? Dude, we are talking about physical security. You know how I feel about this.
Physical?
It's like physical security. All bets are, it's irrelevant.
Like popsicles.
It's irrelevant.
I'm hungry.
I think it's one of those. It's not irreverent though. We're talking about physical security this time in the context of Android. And you guys know how I feel about like USB switchblade, USB rubber ducky, like all those fun attacks, typically against computers and servers. Now we're talking about phones.
What?
So next time you're at drinks with your friends and you leave your phone at the at the table and you go to the loo and you're all like, oh, what happened when I came back and I got a rootkit?
Somebody did that when I was at Stephanie Chu's wedding this past Labor Day
kidding?
weekend. Somebody left their Android phone on there. I might have
somebody got
tweeted from their phone.
Oh, so they didn't have like an unlock thing, or did they use Face to unlock and you held up the
It was
photo?
unlocked. It was totally unlocked. So I had some good times.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
To be honest about the unlocking and whatnot, this is an idea that I've had for a while here. Is like we've got these phones that have NFC, right?
Right.
If you've ever played with Face to unlock
Not
on
the iPhone 5 or whatever it is.
Okay, well,
whatever.
If you've ever played with the new stuff in, I think it was introduced in Ice Cream Sandwich, there's a Face to unlock rather than your like slide or whatever. And so since they understand the technology isn't completely proven with like holding the camera to your face and going and trying to get yourself in the little circle and all that, they have a backup where if within so much amount of time it's not able to recognize your face, it just asks you for your not second factor, but a different authentication mechanism.
Oh, okay.
It defaults to your PIN code.
Oh.
What I've always thought is since there's NFC in this guy, and as we met with the, as we talked at TorCon about getting RFID implantations. Imagine if you had a ring that was NFC and you hold your phone and then suddenly you've got a layer of authentication.
I wonder if I could do that.
I mean, it's something you could lose.
Just like chip it in there.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's fun.
I don't know. Are you sure there's not a chip in your engagement ring? He might have put a GPS in there.
I don't think so. No, I don't think there's one in there, but I could totally install one. Just solder it a little bit.
That would be fun. Yes, you would have like RoboCop ring or something.
That'd be awesome.
But anyway, yeah, that's what we're talking about this week. We're getting into some physical security. I'm really stoked about that. We've got some fun toys coming to the Hack Shop for this.
Yes.
And if you're going to DerbyCon, you're going to want to be there for Causes Talk.
I am so excited. We have so much stuff coming up for the next month.
What's on the radar, Shannon?
So we have plenty coming up. First off is September 20th, the EFF Pioneer Awards. I've never been to those, and I'm pretty excited about that. It's going on in San Francisco, so we'll definitely be there. If you're in town, check it out. Next up after that is DerbyCon. Yes, I am so excited. Didn't you enjoy DerbyCon last year?
DerbyCon is great. It's the perfect excuse to go down to Louisville, Kentucky, and it's going on this September 27th through 30th.
You know what the best part about going to DerbyCon is?
Yeah, hugs?
They have grits and sweet tea over there in
Louisville,
Kentucky.
I thought it was that Relic would give you man hugs.
That's too.
That's why I go.
That's why I go.
That's why Paul goes.
Apparently that's why Paul goes.
And we're so proud to be saying that we're actually sponsoring this one. So come on down. We're also going to be shooting some segments. We're bringing out the Hack Shop, so come join us for that one.
Definitely check it out. Yeah, I'm going to be over there at the table the entire weekend, so you can see me over there. And then October 2nd, Darren is holding a HID hacking workshop at Noisebridge in San Francisco.
Yeah, another Noisebridge hacker workshop. So if you're in the Bay Area, come out. You know what's really fun about the Bay Area hackers is I'm kind of in this unique.
They're cool peoples.
Well, yes, but what's fascinating
is
I'm in an interesting position here only because of the show, and I'm just like a hacker like the rest of you guys. But what I find is that it's kind of a hub and spoke model in that you guys already know me, and I want to meet you, so come out to this event. But the awesome hackers that I've met in San Francisco, it's super cool in that it's like kind of a hub and spoke, and I'm trying to make it more of a mesh. So there's some really awesome stuff going on in the Bay Area. So if you're one of those likes to tinker with the Tor and the Bitcoins and the other
microwaves.
And the microwaves for sure, and all those other 2.4 microwave is cool. All those other fun stuff. Come out to Noisebridge on the 2nd. It'll be a great chance for us all to get together, do some hid hacking, and then see what other kind of table flipping fun we can have.
We could have a very early Halloween costume party at Noisebridge on the 2nd.
We could. In fact, I think you should come in costume. You could be the only one.
I will wear my BSG costume.
So say we all. What's coming up?
So say we all. I don't know. Stay tuned, because next up, coming up, was Kyle Oborn?
Kyle Oborn.
Oborn!
AKA Cause!
Cause!
From
We love
Cause.io.
And he'll be joining us for some fun Android phone-to-phone hacking. But first, a quick break.
For Domaincom. You guys know how I feel about domain names. They're essential for showcasing your blog, your portfolio, your business. Let me tell you something about choosing domain names. You can get a .com. That's what I should have registered when I got Hak5 over 7 years ago. That's right, I nabbed the .tv, I nabbed the .org. The .com's the one you want. That's the one that's universally known, it's remembered, it's the best, it's globally understood, it lends credibility. And the best part is, .com's totally affordable at domain.com. The whole Hak5 crew uses them, domain.com, because they're so easy, they're the best, they're reliable. You don't have to, get gouged and, hit up with irrelevant upsells or anything. Plus, you can't go wrong with a company that has an awesome human approach to business. Just seriously, tweet at domain.com and you'll see their customer support. It's a breath of fresh air. So do this, check it out. Go to domain.com. They are huge fans of Hak5. They're gonna hook you up 15% off. They're already affordable domain names and hosting. All you have to do is use the coupon code HAK5 at checkout. That's 15% and big savings at domain.com. So don't forget to use the coupon code HAK5. When you think domain names, think domain.com. You guys know how we feel when it comes to physical access. All bets are off, and that's why Kaz is here. Hey, how's it going, Kaz?
Pretty good. How about you?
We're talking Android physical access.
Oh, yeah.
Get this. There's this. We just covered this on TNT the other day. There's a diner in New York. Not a diner. There's this restaurant. They do like family-style restaurants, and as such, maybe they're a little annoyed by people playing Angry Birds at the dinner table or whatever. They're offering a 5% discount if you leave your phone with the receptionist.
Ooh, scary.
So would you do that?
Not at all. It's almost like asking me to leave my laptop or my wallet with them.
Yeah, or your Google Wallet in the
Google
case of
Wallet,
Android.
yeah.
So what is this awesome project you were talking about at Tour Camp? I know you were talking about you're doing cool stuff with it at DerbyCon. P2P ADB. We're not talking about friend-to-friend file transfers here.
Well, it might be friend to friend.
Yeah,
There is some transferring going on.
Friend to victim.
So P2P ADB is phone-to-phone ADB. ADB is Android's development debug bridge. It's useful for developing applications and debugging. It basically gives you shell on your Android device.
Who doesn't love a shell? It's like the serial port headers on like embedded electronics or like JTAG,
Yeah, absolutely.
How did this project come about?
So this project actually started completely benign. And I was driving over the hills over to Santa Cruz to go see a concert, and I rebooted my phone, and I accidentally screwed something up right before I rebooted it, and I was stuck in a boot loop. Yeah.
That's the worst.
So I had another phone with me, and I had root on the other phone, and I had a terminal on the other phone, and all I could think of is, man, what if I had the right hardware to plug one phone into the other, and I had the right application to interface with that phone and act as a host for that phone.
So it's not like you had a laptop with a micro USB cable laying around. What you had was two phones at the same time.
Yeah, one of them not working, one of them working, and I knew that I would be able to fix it. I knew what was wrong. I just did not have the preparation to do it.
Some might say you were on the go. Tell me about these OTG cables.
So the OTG cables are great. They basically transform anything that you plug them into a host mode device. It is specific to hardware, but the Galaxy Nexus and the Nexus 7 actually support it, along with a bunch of other devices. So it basically turns your device. So we have the USB Go right here. So this device is now acting as the host device for this device.
So this device doesn't know that it's not plugged into a computer. As far as it's concerned,
Oh yeah,
it's computer.
exactly.
What's a computer?
I'm a computer. But
Pork chop sandwiches. I'm sorry. Anyway, continuing on.
yeah. So as far as the Nexus 7 is concerned, it's connected to a computer right now, and it's actually USB also, you can't tell, I don't think, on the video, but it's actually charging my Nexus 7
wicked.
from my phone. But because
Literally,
of
this is some hippie stuff, man. This is transference of energy. That's what we're talking about. Next time it's going to be power crystals. Anyway, that's fantastic. So
Yeah.
this is great because there are lots of, we'll get into USB charging, but there's lots of opportunities for charging and mayhem.
or leaving your phone up at the counter while you go.
To charge it.
Yeah.
Not mayhem. What does this allow you to do on the phone, and what is the requirements on the phone? I'm wondering, like, okay, cool, I can keep this little OTG cable in my pocket. I can have your awesome P2P ADB Android attack framework
Right.
on it. But what do my victims have to? What's the use case, or what are those? What's my attack footprint, if you will?
Yeah, so the people that I'm looking at mostly are going to be developers or the more tech-savvy group of people. I'm looking at the people that are probably going to be modding their phone often, be swapping out ROMs and all that. Because the idea is that the people that are going to be more tech-savvy are going to have more access to things that I want access to. They're going to be the IT people in a company, or they're going to be some sort of in some sort of management system where they literally have the keys to the system. Or maybe not even that. Maybe they just have SMIME certificates or something, or GPG keys on their device. But those are the people, the more tech-savvy sort of people that are probably going to have ADB enabled. And that's really what I'm looking for, ADB enabled on your device. With ADB enabled, you're running around with ADB enabled, we can do something like this.
And so, as far as what we're used to seeing on our phone, this is when you check that box that says USB debug mode. And I know that I've actually used this in segments before. I did one years ago about tethering a Linux laptop to an Android phone to get internet access through USB, and it required USB debug mode. I think I even had to have it rooted back when I used to always root my phone just to do cool Wi-Fi tethering stuff. Eventually, I got paranoid enough to just get myself a Nexus, put a lock screen on it, call it a day. Not so much.
Sort of. So if you are using ADB but you're not rooted, there are still it's still very much an attack platform that we can take advantage of. There's still a lot there that we can get to. But not only ADB, there's other things I'm looking for. So let's say maybe I just want to steal a device. Maybe I don't want to steal a device. Maybe you left your device with me while you go and eat dinner. If that device has a recovery partition, like Clockwork Mod, or even if it's an unlocked bootloader, like the Galaxy Nexus and the Nexus 7.
They're unlocked bootloaders?
Well,
Nice.
they're locked, but you can unlock them with a very quick command.
Oh, okay.
And to unlock them, that's basically how you root it. You just unlock it, and then you don't lock it because it's a pain in the butt, because it wipes your data when you unlock it.
When I think about when I've rooted Android devices and I'm just following the tutorial, like what's the thing, or the Zerg Rush, or the whatever it is, it's always like, get the Clockwork Mod, install this update.zip, have fun.
Yeah.
There's no go back and lock things down.
And it's actually kind of dismaying checking out all the forums on Android rooting and all that. No one ever mentions relocking your bootloader, getting rid of the recovery partition, because quite frankly, it's a pain to do. I mean, you lock your bootloader and then you have to unlock it later. And in the instance of the Galaxy Nexus and the Nexus 7, for good reason, it wipes your data partition. It wipes all of your user data when you unlock the device. And that's specifically so I can't just unlock your phone and run my own unsigned image.
I mean, this is the equivalent of rebooting somebody's laptop onto a live CD and then DDing their hard drive.
Exactly. But then the thing with that is, because it's such a pain, a lot of people don't bother to relock their device. And there's a lot of suggestion on those forums saying you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't relock your device. You shouldn't worry about getting rid of Clockwork Mod.
And you know what's interesting about this is, we talk about the attack footprint. This is actually our audience. This is you guys. I mean, if you're in the audience right now, raise your hand if your phone is rooted or you use USB debug mode for any kind of weird application, because we're hackers. That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
And yet also we work in these organizations where we have the root access to the SQL server or whatever it may be. And so we take these same devices to the office, connect them to the Wi-Fi network there. if you're able to, get access to my phone for a few seconds with your tool and push a application over to this, you could potentially pivot through this just like you would with like an interpreter shell, right?
Right, right. And that is actually why, that's a secondary reason that I designed this application, because as soon as I realized, oh man, I can plug one phone into another and fix it, I also realized, well, if I can fix it, I can fix it in the way that I want it to be fixed. So after putting this little application together, I decided pretty quickly that, well, I've got this neat little framework set up. I might as well just start building out scripts to automate some of the hacker-related applications that you might use against it.
That's what it's all about. Script this stuff,
Yeah.
It's like, yes, we can do this, but let's make it easy. Let's make it so that, if you've got a few seconds, you can get the job done.
Yeah, and it really is all just shell script. There's nothing fancy about it. It's
Well,
just straight
never
SH.
underestimate the power of a shell script here,
Very
right?
true. It's just SH, and it all it does is it pulls in a few other shell scripts to automate everything. It's very easy to expand and write more shell scripts, and because ADB is all command line and you can transfer stuff over ADB, it's really not difficult to automate whatsoever.
All right, give me an example here. So here's my phone. I use a like one of those not a slide to unlock, but a swipe unlock screen guy here. So if you've got your attack phone over here, and you plug my phone in.
All right, so we got this phone right here. So I've started up PWADB. It's waiting for a device to connect. So it's gonna detect the device. There we go. So it's detected a device.
And you started charging mine. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no worries. So you've got, what do you want to do today? Well, I want to check if you're root. I am not root. In fact, it doesn't know what it is.
Bummer.
So because of that, you're not root. I can't go in and can't easily steal your Google account. I can't steal all of your application data because it's under/data/data, and it's all pretty secured using Unix file permissions. However, taking advantage of some APIs on the Android framework, I can simply go ahead and install an application and then unlock your screen.
Whoa! Where'd the swipe then go?
Yep. So these are built-in APIs into the Android framework that I'm just really taking advantage of. All I did was write a small little application, APK, compile it, forced installed it, not even forced installed, because you have ADB enabled, I can just install the application and then run it. And once it runs, unlocks the
okay. So
screen.
this is just running on top of my lock screen. If I hit the home button or something, if I press anything, I'm going to get the lock screen again, right?
So hitting the home button will actually bring you back to the lock screen, but if you go ahead and hit the back button, it'll actually bring you back to the app that you had open before they had the lock screen. Or if you hit the application program, and it'll bring up all your current applications. So since I have an application on your phone right now, I figured I might as well just take that into consideration and actually have some fun with it. So I just have a few applications here, or a few buttons here. So the first one just brings you back to the previous application. But if you go ahead and hit launcher, launcher actually brings you back to their default launcher. So you've completely disabled their lock screen, and now you are at their launcher.
And just like, what? Install an application, do whatever you will,
Install an
because
application.
we're talking about physical access again here.
So say if you are root, you have the SuperSU or super user APK installed. Those actually require you to grant access to elevate to root permission. So if you have a lock screen and I'm on here and I don't get root immediately because it's trying to prompt me to grant it, it's actually popping up behind the lock screen. So now I can just go in and disable the lock screen, hit grant to root, and suddenly I have root on your device.
Oh, I love that. And you could use like some of those other automated tools to get yourself root, like ZergRush and some of those other ones. I also love this because you've done the swipe, you've unlocked. There are two Nexuses. You could potentially just touch these guys together over NFC, pop it up to the Play Store, and hit install.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with this. And then easy to get rid of. Just simply uninstall it and it relocks the screen.
And so now that application that you'd pushed to, it's completely
wiped.
gone.
Yep.
Nice. Getting rid of those tracks.
Yeah, and since I'm running an application on your phone, it's a lot easier to do go through the Android API than it is kind of through the command line in a lot of instances. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create an APK that has every single permission ever.
Ooh.
And that sort of stuff includes getting accounts, generating tokens, setting VPNs credentials, installing certificates, doing lots of fun stuff there. So since I don't care about permissions, I'm just going to add them all and start building out attacks through the API, which is fun.
What I love about that is now you've got this application on there that has all the permissions. Maybe it's hitting back to your command and control server, and you can, when they take it to the office, you're like, hey, I'm on a new network. Let my master know. Start pivoting through on the network from the inside
Exactly, and I mean it's even better if you have root too, because then you can just drop it into their root application folder, and it's running as a system application.
So it doesn't even show up to the user.
Yeah, you can hide it. You can do lots of fun stuff. And I actually did create an application, an APK that had every single permission, and I tried uploading it to the Google Play Store.
Oh, they probably have a red flag like immediately, like check if their cause.
Yeah.
No.
So needless to say, it didn't actually get published. I tried doing it.
Was it just a hello world that had every single permission?
Pretty much. And when I uploaded it, it goes, warning, when you publish this, when a user goes to install it, they're going to be notified about 127 permissions that they're allowing access. Yeah.
So you'd have to, like, as the user, the use case, you're like scrolling to get to the accept button.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know a lot of people will just be like, whatever, just install the app, right? When there's like 3, 4, 5, 7, 120?
27.
Yeah, they might be scrolling for a bit and think twice when they get to the part that says install VPN and certificates.
But since I'm on the device, I don't really even need to worry about that.
Of course
I can
not.
just go ahead and push it.
That's brilliant. I love that. So you have a whole bunch of other options in here. I mean, I love the really quick unlock the screen. Are you brute forcing the screen? How are you going about that?
So in this instance, I'm actually just using the built-in API functions. There is just an application. The application I wrote is called AntiGuard. The interface that you see right here is actually called KeyGuard. So I figured AntiGuard was a nice little name for it. But in this case, I'm just calling some native functions to disable it temporarily as long as the process is running. I actually have a pre-generated key file, or basically a gesture key file on my device. I generated every single possible gesture possible, so you can't hit like 1, 1, 1, 1 a bunch of times. You have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are certain limitations.
You can't go like 1, 2, and then back to 1.
Exactly.
It's already been accepted.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I had to figure out how to get rid of those, and all in all, there are about 390,000 possible gestures on the device, which seems like a lot.
Yeah.
However, it's only 390,000, not very many bytes each. So I actually threw each one of those into a file, a 390,000 lines long file, and I generated the hash for every single one of those. So if I didn't actually want to just disable it using my application, I could just pull the key file, which requires root. I could pull the key file and then just look it up on the file that I have, and I suddenly know your password.
The beauty of that is that now not only have you unlocked it, but you actually know what the password was.
And there are certain parts of the phone, like under security settings, to change certain things, you actually have to provide the password itself.
That is so cool. You've got like a rainbow table for all of the gestures.
Yeah.
I love that.
The PIN and the password, fortunately, are salted, so you can't actually crack those easily.
All right. But that's still really ridiculously cool. So if you've unlocked my phone, you say push root to it, what are some of the other options you have to do here with P2P ADB?
So the first thing I was thinking about when I started is, if I have root, I can just grab all their application data. And all their application data, you've got their databases and their shared preferences, because I don't want cached files, I don't want libraries.
You don't want all the thumbnails of all of my friends on Twitter?
Exactly. So because I can do that, if you're root, you can grab everything under data/data, which is where all the application data is stored.
Okay.
And that includes your all your saved offline Gmail email lists, all your regular email stuff, your contacts, your calendar, your Angry Birds saved sessions. Pretty much everything is under there.
So you'll know which level I can't get past.
Exactly.
Oh, and also you've owned all of my contacts and calendar and everything else.
True,
Right.
true.
Perspective here, people.
And if you aren't root, it'll go into your SD card because some application data is stored on your SD card. And there have been a lot of apps that have actually been knocked for storing sensitive data on the SD card.
And an SD card is just like a /TMP or something. It's like an all access, like this is
Exactly.
where the stuff goes.
Every single application can have access to it.
I love that.
Yeah.
How does that change with the Nexus in particular, or some of those newer phones? Because I know that a lot of them now don't have micro SD card slots.
So,
and yet you'll still see a /SD card folder.
Exactly. So the /SD card there is just for backwards compatibility. The SD card that you see is actually part of just a regular data partition, and that's the partition that's wiped when you unlock your bootloader, and that's the partition that is encrypted when you encrypt your phone.
That's nice, because previously you wouldn't be encrypting your SD card.
Right.
I mean, you would want to take your SD card out, plug it into your computer, load it up with movies and other stuff. So now all of that is encrypted.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are some trade-offs, like now you can't use USB mass storage, and
well, that's why we have other protocols. So it used to be USB mass storage. That's how I get my photos, my videos, my music on and off of the device.
Yeah.
How does that change now? What's the protocols?
So with at least the Galaxy Nexus, actually 4.0 introduced MTP and basically got rid of USB mass storage.
And what's MTP?
MTP is Media Transfer Protocol, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It's just for transferring media. It's a protocol for transferring media. When you plug in your device turns into an MTP server. You have an MTP client on your host, and your MTP client checks whether, what the server has in terms of files and what it'll transfer over. So there's actually a hard set, or not a hard set, the server defines what file types can be transferred over, which is why sometimes when you plug in your phone into a machine, you will only see like MP3s and photos and certain
This is
things.
also why it makes it work like natively with like Rhythmbox or something in
Exactly.
Ubuntu. I plug my Android in and it's like, oh, here are all your albums. And I'm
Exactly.
like, but I didn't want that. I wanted my videos,
Right.
But yeah, I hear you.
So there are some trade-offs, but that also means that it is pretty ubiquitous. It works across every platform. As long as that platform supports MTP, you're set.
So more than just the Android.
Correct.
Okay, so we've got an iOS device over here. What can we do with this?
So iOS also uses MTP when you plug it into a machine. So since it uses MTP, and iOS's MTP stack is actually a lot faster than Android's MTP stack, and because of that, you can do neat things like plug your iOS device directly into your Android device with the USB on the go cable, and then suddenly you have their photos on your device.
And that's the same one. How do you do this? There we go.
How do I iOS?
How do I iOS? No, I suck at iOSing. Help me out here. There we go. Aha! Aha! Aha!
So the nice thing about this is that it's really fast.
Yeah, I can see.
It's actually built directly into the gallery application on Android.
You didn't even have to code anything.
I didn't even have to code anything. And I'm pretty sure it's part of the Android API. So that application that I installed earlier, the APK, I can just use that.
You don't need any permissions or anything.
No.
This is brilliant. So you could add this into the P2P ADB and just have like an option to just suck down all the photos. Because we know what photos people keep on their phones.
Oh, yes. The only issue there is that if a phone, or iOS and Android is the same, if it has a lock screen that has a pattern or password or whatever, it won't allow.
Like this?
Yeah, so that...
Like the one that you just cracked?
Exactly.
Okay,
so
I
that
see what
won't
you're saying.
actually show up immediately. You'll have to unlock the phone to get the MTP data. But the nice thing about that is that once I have this, I just select it all, import it.
And you're just copying all my photos over,
copying all
just
the
like
photos
that.
over. Yeah. Usually takes a few seconds, and I've grabbed all your things.
That is wicked. Okay, so we've talked about using it with the OTG, our attack footprint, how we can unlock the swipe screen using the anti-guard, and what kind of stuff we can steal off it, including the iPhone. What I'm really excited about are the possibilities when it comes to our Google authentication. So why don't we set up for a different demo with your laptop, and then talk about how we can steal your Google right off your Android phone in seconds without needing to know your password. Stay tuned, we'll be back in just a minute.